Derby County head on the road to the Swansea.com stadium on Saturday afternoon as they face up against Swansea City in what looks to be one of the most important games of Derby County's most recent history. Derby County now have their survival in their own hands as they find themselves in 20th position in the league table with 41 points after 39 games. And what a tremendous turnaround it has been for John Eustace. Swansea City, they find themselves on 45 points after 39 games. And I think you could say anyone from 23rd up to probably 14th could get relegated in this division. I personally think that Preston are probably a little bit out of reach, but I think it's a massive situation down there at the bottom, and a lot of teams can be fearful of getting dragged in. Now, it's completely okay that Derby County have won 4 of their last 5 and only losing to Middlesbrough in that run. It's completely okay. That's brilliant. It's amazing. But what matters is how Derby County finish at the end of this 7-game stretch. Now, Derby County could go and lose their next 7, and ultimately these 4 wins in a row counts for absolutely nothing. And that's why they have to continue to push in against Swansea City. Now, Swansea City themselves haven't been in the greatest run of form. Just 1 win in their last 5. That came up against Middlesbrough 4 games ago. But they've taken defeats to Watford and Burnley, as well as draws against Preston North End and Leeds United. Now, obviously, both sides do have some injury worries of their own. Christian Pedersen and Miles Peart-Harris are all set to be out for Swansea City, although a late recovery could see either of them in and around the squad. But Derby County still have their injury worries. The likes of Ben Osborne, Corey Blackett-Taylor, Curtis Nelson, Dejan Brown, David Ozo, Kemar Roof and Lars Jorgen Selverson. And add Ryan Nyambe to that list after he pulled up within the 2nd minute of the game versus Preston North End, which ultimately could have resulted in Derby County conceding and going 1-0 down. But Preston North End weren't able to capitalise. Now, heading into this one, it's really important to talk about Derby County's recent run of form. They've scored 2 goals, at minimum 2 goals in every single one of their last 4 games, including 2 clean sheets and only conceding 3 goals in that run as well. It sees Derby County in 3rd place in the form table, 12 points from a possible 15 as they head into this one. And we have to scroll right down the table to find Swansea City, who only have 5 points in their previous 5 games. Now, for me, what's really important heading into this game is to look at the away form for Derby County. It's just 2 wins this season, 5 draws and 12 defeats, just 11 points on the road. Now, obviously, one of their most recent victories came away from home at Home Park versus Plymouth Argyle. So heading into this one, they'll be full of confidence, and John Eustace knows exactly what Derby County need. Now, Swansea City, let's take a look at their home form, as that is highly relevant, and they find themselves down near the bottom, 20th place, 19 games, 7 wins, 5 draws and 7 defeats, just 26 points at home, which is 4 less than Derby have picked up at Pride Park Stadium. Now, obviously for Swansea City, the most important thing is that they secure their survival in this division, because right now they aren't secure. I'd argue 15th down is worried. I'd argue Preston are on the edge of being worried, because you look at a team like Cardiff City, they've picked up 4 points in their last 2 games. You look at Luton Town, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat in their last 5. Some teams are really starting to come into their own. You look at Derby, 4 wins in a row. Oxford, only 1 win in 5, they're slumping. Stoke, 2 wins in 5. Pompey, 2 wins in 5. Like, there's a lot of these teams down the bottom that aren't quite hitting the levels that they should be hitting. Now, obviously, looking at that league table, it's very interesting to see how Derby County can sort of exploit that and sort of drag more teams into the battle. And obviously, we've seen with Preston already, we've taken that 3 points. It drags Preston right back into the fight. And a victory against Swansea City at the weekend does that again. And ultimately, does it mean that everyone behind is going to take victory? Cardiff City face up against QPR, Luton face up against Leeds, Hull City face Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford United against Sheffield United. So there's a good possibility that Derby County could come out of this game in 18th place. Now, the big question for me is, as a Derby County fan, do you take a point and rise above potentially the likes of Stoke and Oxford, or do you go for all 3? For me, the importance is obviously heading into our next game, which is against Burnley. The importance is making sure we secure as many points as we can, so that Burnley game is a bit of a free hit and it won't see us potentially drop into the lower echelons of the division. Now, if we look at the head-to-head for these two sides, it's a very even battle, really. 4 wins for Derby, 3 wins for Swansea, 4 draws in there as well. And obviously the most recent game, sure, Swansea City win 2-1 at Pride Park Stadium. And obviously Derby County quite easily could have picked up a point or won that game, and it just felt as if Paul Warne went into it with the wrong mindset, and we find ourselves, I think it was 2-0 down within 15 minutes, and we just, as much as we were probably the better side across the course of even the first half and the second half, we gave ourselves too much to do. And as Derby County fans in recent weeks, you look at the performance we've put in against Blackburn Rovers, Coventry City, Plymouth Argyle, Preston, you get them goals on the board, and ultimately then you have the ability to sort of sit in a little bit, allow teams to sort of play in front of you essentially, and you can drop in a little bit deeper. But under Paul Warne, it was never like that, and I think John Eustace has the perfect sort of rationale when it comes to playing, because yes, we're not having the most of the ball, but when we get the ball, we're getting forward and we're getting bodies in the box. Under Paul Warne, sometimes we were lucky if we had one man in the box, let alone at the moment sometimes we've got 3 or 4 as we're attacking, getting into the box. The likes of Ibu Adams, Liam Thompson, Jerry Yates, Marcus Harness, etc. all getting into the box. Callum Elder as well on occasion. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this game develops against Swansea City, because Derby County can go in and sort of step off early. I don't think we will step off early. I think we'll come out swinging, if I'm completely honest. But we could sort of step off, let Swansea City sort of take it and see where they take the game. And obviously Swansea City do have some good players that we're going to have to watch out for. If we look at sort of their numbers, Liam Cullen is a big one to keep an eye on, 12 goals and assists across the course of this season. Ronald Pereira, Josh Tyman, there's some really, really good names in there as well. Obviously, they have lost a key player in Matt Grimes over the course of the January transfer window, and has that impacted their form? Probably a little bit, but ultimately they weren't great before then. If we go back to sort of the end of December, I think they've only picked up maybe 3 wins across the course of all those games up until now. And obviously, as Derby County fans, you'll know that we didn't win a game until 4 weeks ago. So it's sort of really important that teams that are on sort of these sort of slumps get themselves out of it quickly, and it normally comes with a home game. Now, for Derby County, the main thing is that they're going to be missing Jerry Yates this weekend. Obviously, with him being on loan from Swansea City, it's sort of a big problem. We're going to be missing him. Who is going to end up playing up front with, obviously, it's going to be with Marcus Harness. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Caden Jackson? Is it going to be Nathaniel Mendez-Lang? Are they going to call up Charles Abuka? Are they going to give Tom Barkayton a go? Are they going to push up maybe a Kenzo, put him sort of further forward and drop sort of Jeff Hendrick into the midfield? How are they going to make that situation work? And that's obviously a massive task for John Eustace. And obviously, as you're watching this video, I think he's doing his pre-match press today at around 1 o'clock. It's currently at 12 when I'm recording this video. Obviously, to get it up, get it edited and uploaded, etc., I have to record it early. But we'll do a press conference review tomorrow. But it's a massive, massive situation for Derby when they're missing the likes of Blackett-Taylor. Lars Jorgen Salverson's out for the rest of the season. Washington hasn't been fit all season, or is fit, just isn't playing. Kmar Roof isn't fit. Barkayton don't quite think's good enough. So Derby County sort of in a situation where they may have to drop into their under-21s and look at someone like Charles Abuka to step up into that forward line on debut and have an impact. Now, I'm not saying that is what Derby County are going to do. Do not get me wrong. I do not know. It is a very, very interesting conversation to have. And if I'm honest with you, I'd completely forgotten about it until I was just looking at the foot mob and looking at Liam Cullen against Jerry Yates and just thinking, you know what? Jerry Yates can't play, can he? And it's disappointing because he picked up a massive goal on Wednesday night for himself, his confidence. It's a massive goal for him. 8 goals now this season for him, 4 assists. Yes, it's not enough, but the things he does is unbelievable. His work rate in the press, everything he does off the ball is unbelievable, and some of his hold-up play on the ball to get other players into the game is absolutely magnificent. And obviously, if we go and look at Swansea City's most recent game against Leeds United, playing with a back five, a 5-3-2, similar to that of what we've been playing, obviously, it's going to be sort of a difficult one to judge heading into this one. Obviously, when we look at that game versus Leeds United, then playing that 3-5-2, it's sort of a situation where they're sort of trying to get something out of it. And obviously, when we look at this game against Derby, they're going to think that they're sort of going to have more to be able to get, if that makes sense. And obviously, for Swansea, the big question that's going to be coming up here is how attacking are their wing backs going to be if they're going to play this formation? How far are their midfielders going to travel? Because we've seen with Derby County that they're willing to let Ibu Adams bolt up the pitch. They're willing to let Harrison Armstrong sit a little bit deeper. Let Liam Thompson harry about and rat about. And obviously then you've got Kane Wilson and Callum Elder really bombing up the pitch and giving Marcus Harness and Jerry Yates support. Are they going to let that happen at Swansea City? I think it's Alan Sheehan who's in charge there at the moment. I'm not sure if they have a new will have a new manager in for the game against Derby. Who knows? But it's a very interesting one heading into this game because, like, it's a massive one in terms of the league table. And if we go to the game against Burnley, they played a 4-2-3-1, so they can sort of flip and change as much as they need to across the course of a game, or even across the course of games. So it's going to be very interesting to see what does happen. Now, for me, the big question is going to be around Jerry Yates. So if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, hit the like button as well to help push this video to brand new audiences. Let me know who you would choose to replace Jerry Yates heading into this one, and I'll catch you in my next video.